As of April the 11th, 2020, Polish citizens had visa-free or visa-free on arrival access to 181 countries and territories, ranking the Polish passport 11th in terms of travel freedom, tied with Slovakia and Lithuanian passports. The visa-free travel allows not only to go to the Schengen countries, but also visa-free to Canada and the USA. Also, if you want to know how you can legally get your income taxes down to zero or how to get a second passport as quick as 3 months, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com. Poland's GDP per capita is around $15,421 a year. Poland also offers temporary residence to business investors that want to start a business in the country. It basically requires the investor to set up a business activity and demonstrate that they can generate at least 15,000 euros of income a year to be eligible for a temporary residence permit. Healthcare in Poland is insurance-based and is delivered through a publicly funded healthcare system, which is free for all citizens of Poland, provided they fall into the insured category, which is usually meaning that they have their health insurance paid for by their employer or are the spouse or child of an insured person. All right, and the tax rates in Poland are pretty high. They're as high as 32%. There is a corporate tax rate of 19%. The standard VAT rate is 23%. The Social Security tax is quite high at 35.85%. Of this 35.85% for the Social Security tax, the company funds 22.14% and the employee funds 13.71%. Polish income tax law provides that individuals whose place of residence lies within Poland shall be liable to Polish income tax on their worldwide income as long as the individual stays in the territory of Poland longer than 183 days in a fiscal year. A foreigner can apply for Polish nationality as long as he is not a security risk and has lived in Poland for the last 3 years as a permanent resident and have a stable and regular source of income and own or rent an apartment or house. Poland does not recognize dual citizenship of its citizens. However, Poland law does not forbid a Polish citizen from becoming the citizen of a foreign state, but Polish authorities will not recognize the Polish citizenship in itself. All right, now I'm going to give you my evaluation of this program. You know, I like the fact that Poland allows for dual citizenship as long as you don't enter Poland on the foreign passport, and you can apply for the passport in a reasonable amount of time, but I can tell you it's going to take you 4 to 6 years at least to get the passport. And I don't want to confuse you on this. It sounds like an oxymoron, you know, the way that they're saying that they don't recognize it, but they don't really enforce any sort of law against anyone who's gotten a second passport, so you won't see a problem with that. You also need to have knowledge of the Polish language or you're not going to be able to get the passport. The taxes, in my opinion, are quite high, especially the Social Security tax being at 50%. At one time, it's not 50% now, but it shows you how socialistic the country, it used to be even worse than it is today. The passport, as I mentioned, is very good in that it has visa-free travel to the USA and Canada, but it's going to tax you to death, you know, to get that passport and citizenship. So you're going to have to decide, is that worth it for you? Now, I've brought this out in other videos, but I can't overemphasize this, that when you get a passport, remember a fast-track citizenship program has these traits, and I wouldn't try to bypass them when you're looking for a decision if you're trying to get a passport. Number one is I would try to be getting a fast passport because I've seen these residency by investment programs that linger out forever. And a lot of times people don't ever get the passport because it's their plans change. So then they end up just wasting all that time. But number one is I would be getting a citizenship program that you know you can get as long as you have no civil or criminal past. A lot of the residency by investment countries don't go by the statutory requirements after the minimum residency requirements have been made, therefore messing up your plans for a passport in a reasonable amount of time. By getting a passport, like for instance from St. Kitts, you can get the passport and you don't run into this kind of a problem because St. Kitts passports you can get as quick as 4 to 5 months. And number two is I'd make sure that the country you're applying for has no military requirements to get the passport. People don't realize, I mention this a lot, but if you go into war and you get disabled, man, 10 passports is not worth that. I would try to make sure you don't have a hitch on having to go in the military. And Singapore, Cyprus also has this. you have to be careful when you get these passports. You need to make sure that you don't have that sort of problem. And make sure that the tax system that is in place in that country is either territorial or has a pure tax saving status and doesn't tax worldwide income. A St. Kitts passport not only does not tax income outside the country, but it doesn't tax income inside the country as well. And number 4 is make sure that there is no language requirement, that you already are fluent in that language before applying, or I would advise you not apply, or don't even go to the country to begin with. One nice thing about a country like St. Kitts is there's no language test that you have to take, and it's an English-speaking country. It makes it a lot easier. I can't overemphasize this enough, folks, that you really need to take that in making your consideration. And number 5 is always verify that dual citizenship is allowed, or don't engage in that program. Now, Poland does allow dual citizenship. They really don't. They don't like it, but they don't really, they don't enforce any laws against anyone for getting a second passport. But the other disadvantages, just throw it out the window as far as I'm concerned. That's one thing that I do like about St. Kitts is you've got dual citizenship, unlimited countries. They don't care about that. And that's one way you can really tell a free country, folks, is when you're able to get as many second passports as you want. This is one thing I do not like about the UAE. And I'm going to tell you my opinion. I've done a lot of traveling. Anytime a country, I don't care if they got 0 income taxes like the UAE, any country that does not allow dual citizenship, you're making a mistake. I think you're definitely making a mistake if they got a dictator running the country, okay? I would not go to any country that doesn't allow second passports and they got a dictator running the country. That's one of the worst mistakes that you can make. But I would get a passport also, too, that you can get as many visa-free countries that you can get, but having all of the qualifications that I've just mentioned. Okay, that knocks a lot of countries out when you do that. And also remember that a lot of countries reserve their most lucrative business opportunities like insurance, real estate, things that are very lucrative in retail. They actually bar a lot of people out from that unless you are a citizen. If you're a permanent resident, a lot of countries will not let you get in a certain type of lucrative business opportunities. And I've mentioned that there are quite a few countries that do this. Panama is one of them, but there are many countries that will not let you get into certain businesses unless you're a citizen. And it's going to take you years and years and years, in some cases, to get there. So what do you do during that period of time? And number 8 is also when you move to a new country where you don't know the language, I'm going to tell you it's going to take you 2 to 3 times longer to get anything done, and times money. And you need to really consider this, folks. If you can't speak the language, my advice is to stay away from it. Otherwise, it's going to slow you down if you're trying to run a business. Anyway, if you want to learn more how to legally get your taxes to 0, how to get a second passport, do 3 things. Hit the subscribe button to the right of your screen. You'll get new videos as they come out automatically. And number 2 is I'd like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, just put it below. And number 3 is go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and hit the button at the top of the homepage that says Apply with Us. Fill out the questionnaire, and then hit the button at the bottom that says Send Back to Us so we can help you get started. We deal with about 74 citizenship by investment, residency by investment countries that I think you'd be interested in learning about. And look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.